Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Tonight, I want to talk about something a little bit silly, something that you might call ridiculous. I want to continue talking about what happened at the Capitol recently on the 6th, the riots at the Capitol, the insurrection or attempted insurrection. But I want to talk about something that's really kind of, like I said, silly that's come from it. You know, a lot of people did a lot of bad things. We've talked about a lot of serious topics from that day, but I want to talk about one thing I've heard people repeat again and again and again, and how people are making a big deal about something, and it's the fact that the protesters weren't wearing masks. Now, that might sound silly. Like, yeah, you're right. It's stupid. That's when I said I was going to talk about something silly, and you might agree. But I actually think that there's actually a serious topic here we can delve into also. Because when I saw that group of people protesting, when I saw the people that broke into the Capitol, when I saw the people that engaged in possible insurrection, the last thing on my mind was, oh, they're not wearing masks. One of them might get the flu or COVID or something. That was the last thing I was thinking. But it's odd to see that's, some mask Nazis, that's what they were thinking. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm totally pro-mask. I think everyone knows I'm pro-mask. I think they're just a common courtesy to other people. I think that anything we can do to stop the spread of the virus so we can all get back to our normal damn lives, I'm willing to do. And wearing a mask a few minutes a day when I'm somewhere is not a big deal. Of course, it's easier for me to say because I don't ever go anywhere, so I very seldomly have to wear one. But I am very pro-mask. But I want to say how silly I thought it was that people kind of took to that and pointed that out, and they even noticed that. That's just something that I'm like, that baffles me. People are walking through the Capitol with Confederate flags, and you notice he's not wearing a mask. For one, like I said, I am pro-mask, but I don't care if these people wear masks, period. First off, this isn't like someone's at a grocery store or, a teller somewhere and people are coming in without masks and people that don't want to be exposed are being exposed. This was a rally of adults and no one had to be there if they didn't want to be there. They all went there willingly. So if a bunch of adults want to take a chance at catching the COVID, that's up to them. So I wasn't really offended by any of it. I'm like, well, whoever decides to go there, that's on them. They're willing to take the chance. And I actually thought there was something, I'd say virtuous about the fact that they weren't wearing masks, or brave about the fact that they weren't wearing masks. And it's not that they were brave because they're like, I am not afraid of catching COVID. I don't really think that's brave. I think can be stupid. But I like the fact that they were showing their faces. I do not like it when people protest and don't show their face. Now, I know a lot of people at the BLM rallies and stuff were wearing their face masks, and I don't mind that. I'm okay. I can understand that in this climate. I can be, all right, I'll give you a pass on the fact that you're marching and protesting, etc., with a mask on. Now, the ones that wear the masks all the way up to their eyeballs and then put on dark glasses and then a hat all the way down to the glasses, even covering their ears, now that I'm not okay with because that is obviously concealing your identity. And I am a firm believer of if you can't be seen doing it, don't fucking do it. If you're not brave enough to be identified, then you aren't brave enough to do the act. You know what I mean? If you've got to hide your identity, you're probably not a good person and you don't get the benefit of the doubt that you are one. So I like the fact that most of the people there weren't wearing masks. The ones that were are the ones I thought were more suspicious. The people that wouldn't show their face are the ones that I thought were the worst person there. The ones that showed their face, at least I felt like they were like, this is what I'm doing. I'm not ashamed of what I'm doing. I think I'm doing it for the right reasons. And therefore, I don't care if you see me. I find that respectable in a way. Like I said, I don't find it respectable when someone dresses up like a jackbooted thug or some sort of, I don't know what they're doing when they do the dark glasses and the hip hop hats and the scarves all the way around their face like the kids here in Portland do and stuff like that. I don't like that because like I said, and I've said to many of them at actual events when I've been there to film or see what's going on or monitor the police, I've said, why are you concealing your identity? If you can be here, then you can be seen here. And that's something I've had a problem with a lot of them. It seems like they want to be anonymous. And I'm like, if you're going to be anonymous, must mean you're going to do something you don't want to, that you shouldn't be doing. So that's a little thing I've had, a little hair in my craw for a while. So I didn't think it was right that people were saying, they're not wearing masks, super spreader event, blah, blah, blah. How is that relevant to what's going on? Like I said, and how does that even matter? That's like saying, that guy who just jumped off that building up there, he's fallen to the ground and his shoe's untied. That's dangerous. He might trip over his shoestrings before he splats on the concrete. So I'm like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But like I said, the whole point to me is they showed their face. I find that much more respectable than people that hide their face, like a lot of the BLM people, etc. And like I said, I accept the fact that some of them wore the masks. Like just a surgical mask, that's fine to me. I still think that, though, if you're going to engage in protest or civil unrest or anything like that, you should have said, if I'm making the choice to be out here, I'm going to take the risk. I'm not going to wear a mask because if I conceal my face, I'm the bad guy. I think that would have been my reasoning. I wouldn't have worn a mask if I was going to be in an active act of civil disobedience, or if I was going to be in a march where I was an actual participant, wouldn't wear my mask. I would want people to see my face and know I'm not hiding anything. This is me. Because people who hide things, I don't trust. So I just kind of wanted to point that out today and see if anybody else out there agrees with me. Like I said, I don't want to walk up to a rally and see people that look like they're trying to hide who they are. I want to walk up and see people. I don't like it even at gun rallies when you get the occasional person wearing the mask and the glasses, even before COVID. I didn't like that. I'm like, why are you ashamed to be here? Or what are you planning on doing that you need to conceal your identity? I've confronted many people at gun marches about that too. Gone around telling them, take your fucking mask off if you're here. Don't be telling them we're bad guys. Bad guys wear masks. The guys who are robbing the stagecoach wear the masks, not the guys driving it or protecting it. If you get my point, to use an old Western reference. So that's all I wanted to point out. I just wanted to point out how silly it was that people were upset about masks to begin with, and how I think it's actually better when they don't wear the masks, because I far more trust and am willing to give the benefit of the doubt to someone that's willing to show their face. All right, now I want to move on to gun talk. And what I want to talk about today is a possible alternative to a Benelli M4. I think we all know what a Benelli M4 shotgun is. I have one. I love it. But they're not exactly cheap. So I went today to Sporting Systems and I checked out a possible alternative. All right, I just want to take a second here to show everyone the new Coppola T4. Now, this might look familiar to everyone because it is, for all intents and purposes, an M4. Looks very much like one, feels very much like one. Even got the little crimpy barrel up there. But that's where the similarities end, is that it's very similar, because this gun is a lot cheaper. I don't remember how much it is, but I think it's in like the $700 and something range. But like I said, I've been messing around with this a little bit, kind of feeling out the components. Very solid gun. I was very surprised when I went to pick it up. I was expecting it to be, like a lot of the, copies are, like a cheaper, thinner version of everything. So it was lighter, but not this one. This one is solid. It looks really nice, feels really nice, and is less expensive. So, I'm not saying this is like it's not a $300 shotgun or anything. So you are paying a little more, but this looks like you're getting something very similar to the Benelli M4, but without paying that price. So hopefully there will be some good things to come about this gun. Like I said, it is the Coppola T4. I don't know about you, but I think that shotgun looks very promising, and at a cost at less than half of a Benelli M4, it's definitely worth looking into. All right, I want to ask everyone to indulge me for a moment here while I do something very self-indulgent. I want to do a little segment here that I don't usually do. If you come to my live chats, they're not always about guns. Sometimes we do rednecks and wrestling chats or motorhead chats, because I really love professional wrestling ever since I was a little kid. And I'm into cars. I love cars, motorcycles, stuff like that. There's a lot of gun guys out there that do love that. So I wanted to ask a question of my fellow motorheads today.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Those of you out there who know me know that I drive a 2019 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack. And no, that's not as kinky as it sounds. It's not that type of scat. But I've always thought that was a weird name for a car. Scat. But that's what I drive. A lot of people know it's a lime green or sublime green, as they call it. And I love that car. Now, it is a rear-wheel drive car only. And I do live in a very wintry weather place, let's just say. So probably not the best car for most of the year, but it's still a great car. I still love it. That 6.4 liter engine is just a thrill to drive. It's a comfortable car, etc. It's still kind of sporty, but it's still kind of old man because it's kind of like a sedan. So I like it because I like to think I'm an old man, but I'm still a little bit sporty. But I'm getting a hankering to trade it in. And, I've had it for a year and 3 months now. And I've put 6,000 miles on it because I don't drive very much. Don't go very far. I probably should be leasing and not buying. It's probably better for me since I trade my car in every year or two and I don't drive much. Leases would probably be better. If anybody out there knows whether that's true or not, let me know because I don't really know a lot about leases. But would it be better for me to lease than buy? But that's not my question I'm going to ask. If you want to answer that question, go ahead. But what I want to ask is, how poorly would you people look upon me? How badly would you think of me? And how convinced would you be that I'm actually a teenage girl posing as a middle-aged man if I was to trade my Scat Pack Dodge Challenger for a 2021 John Cooper Works Clubman? Now, this is the special Clubman with the four-wheel drive. Now, this is the special Clubman with the all-wheel drive, so it'd be a lot better up where I live, where we do get snow quite often and wet roads quite often. And this is the one with the bumped-up engine. This is a 2-liter turbo engine putting out 301 horsepower, which is quite a drop from the nearly 500 horsepower of my Challenger, but this thing's almost like 1,000 pounds lighter too. It's like 3,400 pounds, where my Challenger's like 4,600 pounds. So quite a bit lighter and still pretty peppy. Sounds pretty good. 301 horsepower in that little car. And I've always loved minis. I've always wanted one since I was a kid, and a guy down the street had one of the original minis that he had all done up like it was like a little rally car or whatever they called those things. So I've always kind of wanted one, and now I'm thinking about trading in. So those of you out there that are like me, a gearhead, and maybe have some weird tastes in cars, or like to trade your car in often, what do you think? Would you really think too badly of me if I traded in my Challenger for the Mini Cooper from BMW? Let me know, because I can't buy a BMW because, I don't want to be a douchebag. And not every douchebag drives a BMW, but everyone who drives a BMW is a douchebag. So the Mini Cooper is kind of like the closest thing I could get to a BMW, which I've always kind of wanted also. So let me know what you think. What do you think would be the pros and cons of going from the 6.4 liter, like 485 horsepower, 495 horsepower, rear-wheel drive Challenger to the 301 horsepower all-wheel drive, 301 horsepower in that little car, John Cooper Works Mini Cooper? What do you think would be the pros and the cons of doing that? Let me know. Help me make this decision. All right, as usual, I want to end the show with our viewer EDC of the day. And today we have Michael H. And as you can see, Michael's not carrying anything fancy. He's carrying his Glock 45 in a Vetter holster with a Bigfoot gun belt. I've always wanted one of those gun belts because Bigfoot. I love Bigfoot. I've always wanted one of the gun belts for that reason, but I probably wouldn't wear it because I like the gun belts I use. But that's what he's carrying. Nothing fancy. And I wanted to show that today to show people, your carry doesn't have to be fancy. Now, he does say he has a PL Mini light on this as well, but you can't see it in his picture. I guess we'll just have to take his word for it. I guess we could do that. Is that a PL Mini in your pocket, or are you just very sad? But we'll take his word for it that it's there. But like I was saying, very simple setup. Setups don't have to be fancy. Nice Kydex inside the waistband holster with a plain simple Glock. You can't go wrong with a plain simple Glock. Hell, his holster's even gray. His Leatherman pouch is gray. His sweater's gray. His pants is khaki. His t-shirt's white. His walls are white. So I think we could judge from that Michael is the life of the party, or more likely has the personality of a wet sock. Either way, awesome setup. And like I said, plain and simple. And sometimes the plain, simple setups are the best. And that's why I wanted to show our concealed carrier of the day, our viewer EDC of the day, Michael, with his Glock 45 in his gray inside waistband Vetter holster on his Bigfoot gun belt. All right, everybody, that's the show for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back tomorrow. But like I say, I don't know why you would, but I hope you do because I love talking to y'all. And if you want to talk to us live, there's a live show pretty much every night of the week. If you want to come on my channel, just look when it's scheduled. You can come in and participate in the text chat. And if you've got something you want to tell me I was wrong about, you can even come in the chat and do the Slap the Yank segment. With that being said, I want to remind everybody that this channel is 100% viewer funded, and the money that you fund this channel with goes to support the projects this channel actually supports, like TYM Triple P, the Pets and Vets program, etc. If you want to check them out, go over to tympistolproject.com. There's a link in the upper corner of this video. Check it out. And if you like what we're doing and you want to become a sponsor, because I don't take money from any types of groups, I don't take any type of advertising money, I don't take any sponsorship, I don't do deals with manufacturers. So the only money I take in is the money you decide to give me because you like what I'm doing with it. So if you want to be a patron of the channel, go over to patreon.com/the Yankee Marshal and sign up to be a member of the posse, or at any other different level you want to sign up at. And with that being said, I'll sign off tonight as usual by saying, as far as the state of the world is concerned today, well, you know, it is what it is. We're all making it through it, but it could be better. And what things will be in the future if we keep our heads about us, we ignore the fearmongers, we ignore the troublemakers, we ignore the profiteers, we keep level heads about us, and we fight the good fight. What things will be in the future for all of us, especially those of us in the gun community, what things will be in the future is better.